Good morning. I'm going to try this again. This is try number 3. I'm having a hard time not coughing through the reading. Thankfully, it's a short reading. October 21st, 2024, visit of the Magi and flight into Egypt. So we have a commentary. The rite of purification takes place 40 days after Jesus' birth, and ordinarily would have required the offering of a yearling lamb and a pigeon. However, the law permits poor parents, such as Joseph and Mary are, to offer a second pigeon or dove instead of the lamb, which they cannot afford. Thus, even by his parents' offering of purification, it can be seen that Jesus comes humbly into the world. Despite these lowly beginnings, news of Jesus' birth spreads quickly throughout Judea and even beyond its borders. Matthew records the account of a visit to Bethlehem by certain philosopher priests who, interestingly enough, may even be pagan Zoroastrians from Persia. Their presumed contact with Jews of the dispersion was undoubtedly made them familiar with the Jewish Messiah of prophecy. The Magi are prompted to travel the great distance to Jerusalem because of a star which appeared at the time of Jesus' birth. It is not known how many make the long journey. Certainly no compelling evidence exists for the traditional 3. But they apparently arrive some 6 months after Jesus' birth and inquire as to the child's whereabouts. By this time, Joseph and Mary have found accommodations in a house, and it is in this house that the Magi's gifts are offered to the newborn King of the Jews. King Herod is alarmed by the Magi's visit because he believes Jesus' birth poses a political threat to his reign. Because of this, Herod sends his soldiers to Bethlehem to kill all male children who might have been born within the time frame suggested by the Magi's calculations. By Jewish reckoning, any child over 12 months is considered 2 years old. Since apparently 6 months have passed following Jesus' birth, Herod makes his order broad enough to prevent any mistake by including all of the estimated 40 to 50 baby boys in Bethlehem who would be up to 12 or 13 months old at this time. As will be seen, however, Joseph will be warned about the slaughter and will quickly depart for Egypt, where he and Mary and the child, Jesus, will stay until after Herod's own death. All right, before I read from Matthew 2, verse 1, in Jerusalem around 4 to 2 BC, I'm going to take a quick sip. Okay. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted, because they are no more. We have another commentary, From Infancy to Manhood, and I'll take a quick sip. After their brief stay in Egypt, Joseph and Mary returned to their home in Nazareth of Galilee, where Joseph resumes his trade as a carpenter. Over the next 10 years, Jesus continues to grow physically, mentally, and spiritually. There is no further record of Jesus until, at the age of 12, he is taken to Jerusalem for the Passover celebration. At age 12, Jesus has reached the point at which the Jewish boy is soon to become a son of the law, which law he is expected to learn and obey. But Jesus' understanding of the law is far greater than that of other boys his age. After the Passover celebration is completed, Jesus' parents lose track of his whereabouts until they discover him in a profound conversation with the learned rabbis. When his parents express their concern about his leaving them, Jesus gives a response which indicates that even now he is aware of his divine sonship and role as the Messiah. Matthew 2:19 and Luke 2:39 and 40 in Nazareth. After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." So he got up, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, and he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. So was fulfilled what was said through the prophets, "He will be called a Nazarene." And the child grew and became strong. He was filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him. Continuing on in Luke 2. Every year, his parents went to Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the feast, according to the custom. After the feast was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" But they did not answer what he was saying to them. Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all these things in her heart. And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men. More commentary. Little more is known of Jesus' first 30 years. It is known that Jesus has at least 4 brothers: James, Joseph, Judas or Jude, and Simon, and also some sisters who are not named. Because there is no further reference to Joseph, it appears that he probably died while Jesus was still a relatively young man. The support of his mother and younger brothers and sisters, therefore, would naturally fall upon Jesus as the firstborn. For many years, then, Jesus evidently has provided for his family by working as a carpenter, having learned the trade from his father. Now, at about the age of 30, the Jewish age of spiritual leadership, Jesus turns from the work of supporting his earthly family to the task of spiritually feeding the whole family of man. Okay, and that's it for today. Made it through. Thank you for your patience. Love you guys. Have a great day.